Welcome to CultureAlley Spanish. Hola, this is Español Lesson 10. Let's start by going over some of the phrases that you learned in the last lesson again. I don't understand translates to no entiendo. How do you write translates to cómo se escribe. Can you speak slowly translates to puedes hablar despacio. Can you read translates to puedes leer. Do you understand me becomes me entiendes. Let's revise the forms of verbs ending in AR, ER, and IR together one more time. With yo or I, verbs ending in AR, ER, and IR all take up the ending O. With nosotros or we, AR changes to amos, ER to hemos, and IR to imos. Informally, with tú, verbs ending in AR are changed to AS, and ER and IR endings are both changed to ES. In its plural form, or with vosotros, the endings for AR, ER, and IR ending verbs are ais, ace, and is, respectively. Formally, with usted, the ending ER transforms to A, and the endings ER and IR both change to E. With ustedes, we use AN for verbs ending in AR and EN for verbs ending in ER and IR. Exactly similar to the last two forms with él or ella, we use the ending A and E. And with ellos or ellas, we use AN and EN. Let's look at the examples again. Let's look at the forms of caminar first. To walk or caminar ends in AR, and its forms are yo camino, nosotros caminamos, tú caminas, vosotros camináis, usted camina, ustedes caminan, él or ella camina, ellos or ellas caminan. Next, we look at the forms of to eat or comer, which ends in ER. Yo como, nosotros comemos, tú comes, vosotros coméis, usted come, ustedes comen, él or ella come, ellos or ellas comen. Finally, let's look at the forms of to live or vivir, which ends in IR. Yo vivo, nosotros vivimos, tú vives, vosotros vivís, usted vive, ustedes viven, él or ella vive, ellos or ellas viven. Lesson objectives. Asking for introductions. So what's in store today? Today we will learn how to ask for introductions and how to respond to questions related to introducing oneself. Let's get started. Here are some basics before we start. For us to be able to complete these conversations, let's refresh the forms of ser and also learn some new interrogations. Do you remember the to be verb? To be can be translated to ser and estar in Spanish. In English, the to be verb takes up various forms, such as I am, you are, he or she is, we are, you all are, they are, etc. Do you remember the forms of ser? I am translates to yo soy. We are is nosotros somos. Informally, you are translates to tú eres, and its plural form becomes vosotros sois. Formally, you are translates to usted es, and the plural form is ustedes son. He is or she is translates to él or ella es, and they are is ellos or ellas son. Note that the pronouns shown in brackets can be omitted in sentences. All right, now let's look at the interrogations used in our conversation today. What translates to qué, and which to cuál. How becomes cómo. Who is quién in singular form. Try that, please. ¿Quién? And ¿quiénes? In plural form. Say that as well. ¿Quiénes? Lastly, where translates to ¿dónde? Can you try saying it? ¿Dónde? And to where becomes ¿a dónde? Today we will learn how to ask and answer the following questions which we typically encounter while meeting new people. Who are you? What is your name? What do you do? Where do you work? Where do you live? And finally, what does your father do? Let's start with who are you? Who are you becomes ¿quién eres? Do you remember that you are is tú eres? Hence, who are you is ¿quién eres? Try saying that, please. ¿Quién eres? Now let's look at how we respond to who are you by taking some examples. We can respond by saying I am Mike, which translates to soy Mike. I am a boy becomes soy chico. Try saying that, please. Soy chico. Another response can be I am a student, which is soy un estudiante. And we can add our location by saying I'm from Chicago, which translates to soy de Chicago. Great! What if you were Lisa and not Mike? If the same introduction was to be given for a female, there will be some minor changes. I am Lisa will be yo soy Lisa. I am a girl is soy chica. I am a student becomes soy una estudiante. And lastly, I'm from Chicago translates to soy de Chicago. Did you notice? As we had learned before, the word estudiante doesn't have a gender attached to it. Hence, we use un estudiante for a male student and una estudiante for a female student. However, we don't need to add una before words like chica, as they already communicate the gender. Great! All right, it's quiz time. How will you say, who are they? Assuming a mixed group of people. Will you say, ¿quiénes son ellos? Or ¿quién son? Or will it be ¿quién eres ellos? Who are they is ¿quiénes son ellos? One more time. ¿Quiénes son ellos? Where we use the plural form of who or quiénes. Remember that just quiénes son can refer to usted or ellos or ellas. Hence, it is appropriate to translate who are they as quiénes son ellos for a male or mixed group. For an only girls group, we will say quiénes son ellas. Try saying that. ¿Quiénes son ellas? Great! Now try the translation for who is she? Is it ¿quién es ella? Or ¿quién es? Or ¿quién es ella? Who is she translates to ¿quién es ella? Did you get that right? ¿Quién es was the wrong option as it would have been incomplete. ¿Quién es could refer to ella or él or usted. ¿Quién es ella makes it complete as ella indicates who is she. Moving on, our next question, what is your name, translates to ¿cuál es tu nombre? Literally meaning which is your name. Do you remember that what is your name is also commonly translated to ¿cómo te llamas? Try that, please. ¿Cómo te llamas? It literally means how do you call yourself? Let's take an example for the response to what is your name. Let's take the example of the statement, my name is Lisa, which becomes, mi nombre es Lisa, where my becomes me. Try saying that again. Mi nombre es Lisa. Good. You may also hear people replying as me llamo Lisa, literally meaning I call myself Lisa. Try this form, please. Me llamo Lisa. Great. Moving on, what do you do translates to ¿qué haces? Try that, please. ¿Qué haces? To do is hacer. Informally, you do translates to haces. Hence, what do you do becomes ¿qué haces? Let's note an exception here. To have is not a regular verb. It is an irregular verb. Irregular verbs have some forms which follow a different pattern as compared to regular verbs. Let's look at the forms of the verb to do or hacer. I do translates to yo hago. Note that it does not become hazo like a regular verb would have. It is hago. One more time. I do is yo hago. We do becomes nosotros hacemos. Try that, please. Nosotros hacemos. Informally, you do translates to tú haces. And for its plural form, you do is vosotros hacéis. Try saying that. Vosotros hacéis. He does or she does or you do formally translate to él hace or ella hace or usted hace. Finally, they do or you do in plural and formal form become ellos or ellas hacen or ustedes hacen respectively. Try these forms. Ustedes hacen. Great! Remember that to have or hacer has the same forms in present tense as other regular verbs ending in er, except with first person singular form, I or yo. With yo, it takes up the form of hago. Very good. Let's answer what do you do by saying I study at the college in Spain. Looking at it word by word, I translates to yo. Study becomes estudiar, but in this sentence it cannot be used as it is. At translates to en. The is la. College becomes universidad. Say that, please. Universidad. In translates to en again. Spain is España. We saw that we cannot use estudiar as it is. With yo, we change it to estudio. Hence, our sentence becomes yo estudio en la universidad en España. Did you notice that the college translates to la universidad? We did not say un universidad as we are referring to a particular college. We saw the college and not a college, which means any college. The is a definite article. So remember, un or una are used for indefinite articles like a or an, whereas el or la are used for definite article or the. La is used with feminine subjects and el is used with masculine subjects. College or university takes up feminine gender in Spanish, hence we use la. So now we know, I study at the college in Spain translates to yo estudio en la universidad en España, where the college becomes la universidad. So let's revise. Who are you translates to ¿quién eres? What do you do translates to ¿qué haces? Moving on, I am Lisa translates to soy Lisa. I am a girl is soy chica. I am a student becomes soy una estudiante. I'm from Chicago translates to soy de Chicago. Great! Now let's look at where do you work? Where translates to donde, and you translates to tú, and work translates to trabajar. But we need to change its form to use it correctly with tú. We will therefore use trabajas. Therefore, where do you work becomes donde trabajas. Remember that to work is trabajar, but informally, you work becomes tú trabajas. Hence, where do you work becomes donde trabajas. Say that again, please. Donde trabajas, which means where do you work? Another way to respond to what you do is I work at the campus. Looking at it word by word, I translates to yo. To work is trabajar, but it needs to undergo a change in its form. Looking at the other words, at becomes en. And finally, the campus is translated to el campus. Say that, please. El campus. We saw that we need to conjugate the verb to work or trabajar. With yo or I, it becomes trabajo. So now you know, I work at the campus translates to yo trabajo en el campus. Remember that campus takes up masculine gender, hence we used el as the translation for the. So try saying I work at the campus. We will say yo trabajo en el campus. Great! Remember, el without an accent translates to the in masculine form, while el with accent means he. So remember this difference. All right, now try saying I work at the hospital, where hospital takes up masculine gender. Will you say yo trabajo en la hospital or yo trabajo en el hospital? I work at the hospital becomes yo trabajo en el hospital. Remember, hospital takes up masculine gender, hence we used el. Let's revise. Who are you translates to quién eres. What do you do translates to qué haces. Where do you work translates to dónde trabajas. Another common question while meeting a new person will be where do you live, which translates to dónde vives. Remember that to live is vivir. Hence, informally, you live becomes tú vives. So the question, where do you live, translates to ¿Dónde vives? Can you try that? ¿Dónde vives? Great! An example for the response to where do you live will be I live in Chicago. I live in Chicago translates to Vivo en Chicago. Again, to live is vivir. Therefore, I live becomes vivo. So try saying, I live in Chicago. It is vivo en Chicago. Great! Our last question for the day is, what does your father do? Looking at it word by word, what translates to qué? Your is tú. Father translates to padre. And to do becomes hacer, but again, we need to conjugate it. With third person singular, or your father, to do changes from hacer to hace. So now you know, what does your father do translates to ¿Qué hace tu padre? Remember, tú with an accent is you, while tú without an accent is your. Tú or your is the possessive form. We will learn all possessive adjectives in future lessons. For now, let's see how we will respond to what does your father do? Taking an example, my father is a doctor is translated to Mi padre es médico. Try that, please. Mi padre es médico. un médico is not used as médico already communicates the gender, that is, male doctor. Let's revise. Who are you translates to ¿Quién eres? What do you do becomes ¿Qué haces? Where do you work is ¿Dónde trabajas? Where do you live is ¿Dónde vives? And finally, what does your father do in Spanish is ¿Qué hace tu padre? Excellent. Try the translation for my father. Is it tu padre or mi padre? My father becomes mi padre. One more time. Mi padre. Awesome. How will you say your father? Will you say tu padre with an accent or tu padre without an accent? Your father is tu padre. Very good. How will you say what does she do? Will you say ¿Qué haces ella? Or ¿Qué hace ella? What does she do translates to ¿Qué hace ella? How did you do there? What is the correct translation for she works at Google? Is it ella trabaja en Google? Or trabaja en Google? Or is it ella trabaja Google? She works at Google is ella trabaja en Google. Did you get that right? One more time. Ella trabaja en Google. Let's revise what we learned today. Who are you is ¿Quién eres? What do you do translates to ¿Qué haces? Where do you work becomes ¿Dónde trabajas? Where do you live is ¿Dónde vives? And finally, what does your father do translates to ¿Qué hace tu padre? Great! All right, it's time for the Culture Leaf of the day. Today, we talk about the tooth mouse. When a child loses a tooth, it is a myth in a lot of countries that if he or she places it under the pillow, a tooth fairy will exchange it for a gift. There are no tooth fairies in Spain. Instead, there is a tooth mouse named Ratoncito Pérez. As is traditional in some English-speaking countries, when a child loses a tooth, it is customary to place it under the pillow, so that Ratoncito Pérez will exchange it for a gift. Some regions of Mexico, Peru, and Chile call him el ratón de los dientes, the tooth mouse. And in Argentina, Venezuela, Uruguay, and Colombia, he is known simply as el ratón Pérez. In the next lesson, we will learn some conversations around talking about one's family. We hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you at the alley for the next one.